I would like to introduce Dr. Kyla Bennett, who is here to give a little presentation on her research.
And nonprofit based outside of Washington, D.C. I have a PhD in ecology and a law degree. I was one of the two scientists who discovered per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, in artificial turf in 2019. Since that time, almost 7 years ago, I have yet to see a properly done laboratory analysis that shows PFAS-free turf. As you are likely aware, PFAS are a large family of compounds numbering over 10,000, which are persistent, bioaccumulative, and all that we have studied are toxic. In April of 2024, EPA issued a rule under the Safe Drinking Water Act limiting just two PFAS, PFOA and PFOS, to 4 parts per trillion with a goal of 0, stating that there is no safe level of either chemical. In July of 2025, Field Turf displayed their PFAS test results online. They claim they found no detectable PFAS compounds on one field and trace levels at the other field. The so-called trace levels were 120 parts per trillion of PFPEA and 280 parts per trillion of PFOS. Remember that PFOS is one of the two PFAS which EPA states there is no safe level of. And also keep in mind that these PFAS can be ingested, inhaled, and dermally absorbed. A dissertation from a scientist at Notre Dame University found that of 27 samples of turf, all had PFAS, but importantly, 76% had PFOA, the other legacy PFAS, which is a carcinogen. To reiterate, we have yet to see a lab report using the proper tests showing PFAS-free turf. PFAS leach off the artificial turf from UV light, acidic rain, and abrasion from use, and contaminate surrounding soils and water. Dr. Graham Peasley from Notre Dame University, an international PFAS expert, did a calculation that shows that one turf field can contaminate 800,000 gallons of water above EPA's limits for PFOS and PFOA annually. When we look at the project at Ogren Park, it is critical to note that the proposed field is within feet of the Clark Fork River and is on the Missoula Valley Sole Source Aquifer, which is only 40 feet deep in some places, which means that PFAS from this turf will contaminate both the aquifer and the river. PFAS can travel vertically in soil 400 feet or more. Moreover, I want to briefly touch on several other topics. Even if there is such a thing as PFAS-free turf, the micro and nanoplastics coming off the field will contaminate soils and water. Hundreds of pounds of plastic shed off these fields annually, and there is no way to capture them. Artificial turf is plastic. It is a fossil fuel product. Use of artificial turf fields are limited by heat. In Missoula, you had more than 3 weeks of days over 90 degrees, which is dangerous since artificial turf can reach temperatures of 180 degrees or more. Communities are starting to enact heat policies. Here in Massachusetts, one town prohibits use of artificial turf when the air temperature is over 85 degrees and humidity is 60% or more. Artificial turf contributes to heat islands and climate change, emitting both carbon dioxide and methane. There is no true recycling of artificial turf. It is typically burned in Baytown, Texas. Recyclable is not the same thing as recycled. Reuse just kicks the can down the road, and at some point, the field has to go somewhere. The Toxic Use Reduction Institute, or TURI, did a comparison of costs of artificial turf versus natural grass based on real-world examples and concluded that, quote, in nearly all scenarios, the full life cycle cost of natural turf is lower than the life cycle cost of a synthetic turf field for an equivalent area. Specifically, 16-year annualized cost of a natural grass field is $33,522, and for artificial turf, it's between $65,000 and $109,000. So in conclusion, installing an artificial turf field at Ogren Park will exacerbate climate change, result in more costs to the community, and contaminate your drinking water and surface water and soil with PFAS and micro and nanoplastics. Organic natural grass is the environmentally sustainable alternative. Thank you.